Hey guys, it is Patrick here. It is our first video of 2021. It is January something or other, and we are here to do our 5 predictions for the 2021 real estate market. So this is where we go on record and prove ourselves wrong, so you can come back to us from the future and tell us how we don't know what we're talking about. But that's why we do it, because it's fun. So 5 2021 market predictions for the Niagara real estate market. So number 1, the supply crunch. So we are in a historically undersupplied market right now. There's demand up here. There's new listing inventory down here. There's multiple offers. There's price battles, all this other good stuff, right? Good stuff? Well, you call it what you want. But we don't see that changing through the first quarter of the year. We have a lot of timid sellers that aren't sure how to navigate this market period, let alone with COVID. And so this undersupply we expect to carry on. We saw it for the back half of 2020. We don't expect a huge shift until the flowers come out, the weather improves, the vaccine starts to roll out, and the whole grip that COVID has start to lessen. Currently, there's 411 active listings in Niagara, 299 detached, 173 less than $1 million, and only 66 detached homes under $600,000 in all of Niagara. That's Niagara Lake, St. Catharines, Grimsby, Beamsville, Lincoln, Niagara Falls, Fonthill, Welland, Thorold, Fort Erie, Port Colborne. All of those areas, 66 homes under 600,000. That is an incredible undersupply. Yes, it's the beginning of January, but that's not enough. I don't care who you were talking to. Prediction number 2, St. Catharines. The average supply or the average new listing inventory is going to improve. It is going to take Q1 before that happens, though, because of what I just mentioned with the first prediction, and that is the impact that COVID's having and the whole market conditions in general. So looking at the last 3 years, August to December, that 5-month span, typically there was around 1,200 new listings every year. So 2017, 18, 19, 20. 2020 had 20% more sales than those years. So the listing inventory was here, the sales inventory was here until 2020, which was that huge supply crunch that we had, right? Now, when you go back over the last decade, there's around 3,200 new listings per year in St. Catharines, around 3,180, 3,200, give or take a few. 2020, there was only 2,860, 2,850 new listings. So that discrepancy was unique to 2020, and that was unique due to COVID. You don't have 10 years of consistent new listing inventory. Think about the different markets we had since 2010, 2011, 13, 14 was its own market, 16, 17, holy cow, 18, 19, 20. You don't have consistent new listing inventory like that and then have 1 year that's this outlier without a reason, and it's COVID. So as soon as the COVID impact starts to lessen, we're going to see, our theory is a pent-up response, a pent-up supply come on the market, but we don't see that happening in Q1. So we're going to have to just sort of push through this. Prediction number 3, average sale price increase. We are seeing things going up around 9 to 10%. Why? Like any prediction, it's a mix of science, data, and gut instinct. We may well be wrong. We were proven wrong last year. Who predicted 21.1? If you predicted 21.1% annual increase for 2020, call me. I'd love to chat with you and find out what your process is. So over the last decade, the average sale price increase in Niagara averaged out at around 10.3%. So a 10.3% increase for 2021 gets the average sale price into the 615 range. That's crazy, right? Think about it this way. February 2020 was the first month that we ever had an average sale price increase over 500,000. That was the first month to ever crack the 500,000 barrier. November, 9 months later, November 2020, December and January so far have all cracked 600,000. So we went up 100,000 increment in the span of 9 months. So will we do a 20% increase in 2021? No, that gets us up into the high 600s. And for me, the whole big picture doesn't make sense. But 9-10% gets us into the 610, 615 range, which I know is an incredible number to think about for an average sale price. But there's other factors in that as well, which we're going to get to in a second. Another thing to consider too, with how unique this market is. April, the number of sales were down 62%. The number of new listings were down about 50%. So the whole market came back in response to COVID. Right now, there's an imbalanced response to COVID, and that is this. The number of sales for the last quarter of 2020 for October, November, December, were up 38%. the number of new listings were only up 1%. So that disparity, which we never had back in the spring when COVID first hit, that disparity that we've got going on now is unique to right now, which is causing this gross imbalance in supply and demand, and is also causing this 21% price increase that we just experienced. So as long as that disparity exists, prices are going to increase, and that is the outlier, the X factor with this. Nobody knows how long this supply crunch is going to carry on and this demand is going to carry on. As long as it does, it's going to impact pricing. So there is the possibility for the average sale price to go up further than 9, 10, 11%. But, that's something we're going to have to monitor. Once the tulips come out, COVID starts to relax a little bit. That's when we're going to know really quickly. Prediction 4, the high end of the market has really hit its cruising altitude. Whether it goes to 35,000 feet or 30,000 feet, the plane's still up in that stratosphere. And this is why the number of sales over $1 million went up about 66% from 2018 to 2019, went up 129% from 2019 to 2020. There was 438 sales over $1 million in Niagara. Remember, there's about 8,700 sales in total. 438 were over $1 million. But here's why I think we're at this new level, is because historically Niagara-on-the-Lake more or less dominated the $1 million plus market. You get a few in St. Catharines, few in Grimsby, few in Fonthill, that sort of thing. But here we are now where yes, Niagara-on-the-Lake had the most sales over $1 million last year, but now you've got Grimsby with 50, Fonthill had 49, St. Catharines and Fort Erie both had 40, Niagara Falls had 45 sales over $1 million. So the distribution is sort of spread out. So as a result, it's not only tied to Niagara-on-the-Lake, how many homes sell over $1 million. Now it's spread out across the whole region, Port Colborne, Fort Erie, all over the place, right? So currently there's 128 listings over $1 million that are on the market. Their average ask is just under 1.9. So that's the other thing that's changed. Not just the number of homes for sale, but the dollar volume. If you added up the dollar volume of all those sales, the average sale price isn't $1,050,000. The average sale price is $1,300,000, $1,400,000. So it's creeping up and creeping up. So, and then lastly on that, there was more sales over $1 million in 2020 for Niagara than there were in 2010 through 2017 combined. So 2010, 11, 12, 13, blah, 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 17, add all those up, there were still more sales over $1 million in 2020. So again, it's just a new end of the market that previously didn't exist to that level that is now up and running. And it exists. It's not an outlier. It's not a one-off. It now is a segment of the market that is to be taken seriously. Next one, and lastly, prediction number 5. It's not really a prediction. It's just a fact. And that is that Niagara is now in a new normal. The normal being that out-of-market buyers, that this more fluid movement of demographics is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. This isn't an outlier. It's not a blip. It's not, 2 years we wake up and everybody's gone, all the out-of-towners that drove up the prices, et cetera, et cetera. It's part of it is the radar that we're on. We're part of a larger real estate market. Before it was Niagara and we had, downsizers and a few little demographics that would come this way. But for the most part, they were all up in Oakville, Burlington, and around the bend, right? And then we saw that slow wave that pushed this way. We're just part of a larger real estate market. We're not in this, we don't have a wall around us. We're not in a silo. We're part of a larger scale real estate market. So I know it's frustrating for a lot of people because the prices have gone to where they've gone. But the reality is this isn't going to change. We're now part of that bigger picture. So it's a matter of figuring out how to work within it, whether you're buying or selling or renting or whichever it is. And that, whether it's us or somebody else, there are paths forward on how to navigate this. But you really need to sit down with a pro and find out exactly what your situation is, assess what your needs are and what your abilities are to on how to operate in this market, and then you go from there with a plan. That's the only way to do it. That's it. Unless, again, somebody else has an idea. But I think that's the only way to really realistically navigate this new landscape. So there you have it. 5 predictions for the market that may or may not be true. Love to hear what you guys think. If you have an idea on what you think the market's going to do, if you think we're right on something or wrong on something, or you have your own theories or whatever, let's chat. Would love to do it. If you haven't checked out our new website, we have a blog that gets updated all the time with cool, whether it's intel or how-to or things to think about. We have a market insight page on there as well that's jammed full of data from coast to coast, and we update that at least weekly. So if you want to stay in the loop on exactly what's going on in the market. Otherwise, if this is on YouTube, hit that subscribe bell notification thingamajammer, and then whenever a video comes out, it'll get sent to you, and you can stay in the loop as well. Okay. Hopefully that was entertaining, which is a combo of interesting and entertaining, and I just made that word up. So apologies if somebody else has already trademarked it. Okay, thanks so much, and we hope you're doing great, and we'd love to hear from you. Okay, see ya.